Hello everyone, my name is Shane Clark, and today we are going to dive into the life of Robert Lee Frost. Robert Frost is an American poet who was also an accomplished teacher, teaching at numerous different schools throughout his life. His life represents his hard work and an immense passion for his love of writing and poetry. The life of Robert Lee Frost is a prime example of the concept of rags to riches. Even though he went through many trials and tribulations in his younger years, he was still able to maintain a happy and successful life and leave a legacy behind for many to follow in his wake. Robert Lee Frost, named after the Civil War General Robert E. Lee, was born March 26, 1874 in San Francisco, California. He was born to William Prescott Frost Jr., an American journalist, and to Isabel Moody Frost, an immigrant from Scotland. At the young age of 11, Frost's father passed away from tuberculosis in 1885. Having been left with a mere $8, Robert and his mother moved across the country to Lawrence, Massachusetts, to get away from the trauma of his late father. For high school, Frost attended his hometown school, Lawrence High, and upon graduating in 1892, Frost went on to Dartmouth College, only to drop out and begin his teaching career. At this point in time, Frost developed his love for writing and poetry. Just 2 years out of high school, Frost sold his first poem for $15. In today's day and age, that $15 would be worth $443. Thrilled about his accomplishment, Frost proposed to his girlfriend, Eleanor White. She said no, but after she completed her schooling and Frost returned from his trip to Virginia, he tried again and she accepted. Frost attended college at Harvard University from 1897 to 1899, but had to drop out once again due to illness. Not long after, Frost's grandfather gifted a farm to Robert and his wife Eleanor up in Derry, New Hampshire. This would be one of his grandfather's final acts, for he passed away later due to his old age. Frost's new farm in Derry would be he and his wife's permanent home for the next 9 years. Over that time frame, Frost would write poems before his daily duties. These poems would later become famous. When the 9 years was up, and as a failed farmer, Frost took up a job at Pinkerton Academy once again as a teacher. After teaching at Pinkerton Academy for 5 years, Frost would move on to the normal school, which is Plymouth State University today. Only staying for 1 year, in 1912 Frost would sail to Great Britain, settling just outside of London. Here he was able to get his first poetry book published, A Boy's Will. With all of his success in poetry overseas, Frost was just getting started. In 1915 Frost ventured back to the US and made a purchase on another farm. With no intentions to sell out on this farm, Frost managed to keep it one way or another, either as a summer home or a regular home. This farm was located in Franconia, New Hampshire, and was dubbed the Frost House. This house can be visited today because it has been made into a museum. It also is a place that holds poetry conferences yearly. As stated before, this house had many functions, but it was mainly used as a summer home for the Frost family. For just over 40 years, Robert Frost bounced around from his home in New Hampshire to teaching in the summer and fall at Middlebury College in Ripon, Vermont. Throughout this time, he still maintained writing poetry but lived a fairly quiet life. Frost passed away in 1963 in Boston, Massachusetts due to complications from a surgery. Disregarding all of his success, Robert Frost had a hard life. His father and his mother passed away in his younger days in 1885 and 1900 respectively. His sister was hospitalized for mental reasons, and she took her own life in 1929. In 1938 he lost his wife after a long battle with cancer and a heart failure, and out of his 6 children, only 2 would outlive him. With all this tragedy, many people in his family would suffer from depression. He, his mother, his sister, his wife, and his daughter experienced bouts of depression, for it ran in the family. Frost was a very accomplished poet/writer. Throughout his life Frost accumulated 4 Pulitzer Prizes. For his first prize in 1921 he was awarded for his book New Hampshire. 10 years later he was awarded again for his collected poems piece, and in 1937 and 1943 Frost was awarded for his books A Further Range and A Witness Tree, respectively. To continue from the last slide, Frost was presented with over 40 honorary degrees from prestigious schools like Harvard, Oxford, and Princeton. In 1960 he was awarded the U.S. Congressional Gold Medal, and in 1962 he was awarded the Edward McDowell Medal for the Arts. Oh, and he also read one of his poems at President John F. Kennedy's inauguration in 1961.
Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
This quote, taken from Robert Frost's A Road Not Taken, really stuck out to me on a personal level. It really speaks volumes and represents Frost's life to a T. Frost never really got any handouts throughout his life, and only got to his level of success through hard work and determination. Robert Lee Frost is truly an inspiration to all.